A childhood affected by poverty and abuse, a lifelong struggle with body image, the sudden death of her brother. These are just a few of the tragic details of Queen Latifah's life. Queen Latifah, born Dana Owens, was raised in the projects of New Jersey, and her family struggled to make ends meet. In her book, Put on Your Crown, she described the difficulties she faced as a result of being raised in poverty, writing, "As a teenager growing up in a working-class neighborhood in Newark, I also made some moves I'm not proud of. Money was tight, and I experimented with stuff that could have taken me right down into the gutter if I'd continued with it." As she explained to the New York Times, being raised in the projects wasn't all bad, but growing up in such an environment could potentially have drawn her down the wrong path if she hadn't had a strong support network from her family.
In growing up in an inner city, you tend to encounter a lot of things. Crime is one of the things you tend to encounter at a young age.
Subsequently, witnessing the pitfalls of poverty firsthand instilled Latifah with a strong sense of justice for the poor. As she told Good Housekeeping, "It became my goal to buy my parents' houses, and I did. But it wasn't solely her family she wanted to help once she made it big. Her environment propelled her toward a desire to do good and help those in need as well." Latifah told Interview magazine, "I want to build a housing development, a big one, a real deaf one, and pay for people myself, not for my friends. They can do it on their own. I'm talking about lower income families." Queen Latifah's father, Lancelot Owens, was conscripted to the Vietnam War. According to NPR, 40% of those sent to fight in Vietnam were African American, and racial discrimination was rife. As was sadly common for Vietnam veterans, Owens struggled with mental health issues and substance misuse following his experiences in the war. As Latifah told the New York Times, he wasn't there at some points, financially, when we could have used his help. Vietnam had a lot to do with that, and he was dealing with a drug problem at the time. He was able to work through that stuff. Latifah's father and her mom, Rita, divorced when she was 8. In an interview with the Virginian Pilot, Latifah largely blamed the disillusion of her parents' marriage on Vietnam, saying, "He was a big, hard-nosed cop. Vietnam did a few things to his life. Eventually, he left the family." Thereafter, Latifah and her brother were raised by their single mother. Initially, Rita had to juggle domestic duties whilst working 2 jobs, but she eventually trained as a high school teacher. Latifah has credited her mom for ensuring her children thrived despite the grueling situation. As she told the New York Times, "Any person who can take 2 kids basically without any support from their father and put them through Catholic school because she felt they deserved a better education is doing all right." When Queen Latifah was a child, she was molested by a teenage babysitter. The star told Essence, "He violated me. I never told anybody. I just buried it as deeply as I could and kept people at an arm's distance. I never really let a person get too close to me. I could have been married years ago, but I had a commitment issue." In a Larry King Live interview on CNN, she revealed that she was just 5 years old when the abuse occurred. As is common with survivors of child sexual abuse, Latifah was scared to tell her parents about what happened, and thus kept it a secret until adulthood. She explained that the abuser was known to the family, revealing, "To tell my father, because I'm like, my father's going to kill him, you know? And I don't want to do that, but I had to let them know what I had gone through so that they could understand maybe more of my mindset and freed myself of that burden." At the age of 22, Latifah was able to tell her parents. She revealed to Essence, "My mother felt terrible. When I told my dad, he said nothing." On reflection, Latifah told the outlet that she now realized why her dad remained silent upon hearing the news, saying, "He's a man of action." As Queen Latifah recounted on the Ellen DeGeneres show, both she and her brother were bullied at school. She said, "As kids, we kind of kept it to ourselves. We tried to handle it on our own, and sometimes it got out of control." In particular, kids targeted Latifah's body shape. She told Us Weekly, "I was always the biggest girl in my class. One thing I was self-conscious about was my breasts. I thought they were so big. Then when I was 18 or 19, I dated somebody who just loved my body down, you know? Someone who just praised and adored my body constantly. That really turned me around."
You are such an amazing woman. I'm serious. I mean, any man that gets you is gonna be beyond lucky.
Body negativity unfortunately followed Latifah into adulthood. She told Entertainment Tonight that people judging her body caused her to frequently think about her weight. When Latifah embarked on an acting career, she was told to lose weight for roles due to Hollywood's arguably unrealistic body standards, especially for women. She revealed, "I can remember specifically doing Living Single, and the word came down that we needed to lose weight. If anything, it angered me and disheartened me, but it really angered me. I said, we're what women look like. We're not going to lose weight for whoever's idea of what we're supposed to look like." Queen Latifah's darkest moment came when her beloved brother, police officer Lancelot Owens Jr., died in an off-duty motorcycle accident in 1992 at the age of 23. As she told Good Housekeeping, "My life was rocked to the core, and I felt guilty because I was angry at God." To make a tragic experience even more painful, Latifah had bought the very bike on which her brother died. Opening up about the tragedy to the New York Times, Latifah acknowledged the lingering nature of grief, saying, "I don't know if I ever recovered completely. You can't replace a person, especially someone with a big presence like my brother. We were best friends." Since her brother didn't live to see her success, Latifah revealed that the loss had left her with a sense of bitterness, saying, "I felt like all these great things were happening, but I lost the most important thing to me. If that's the price I had to pay, I didn't want it." For the sake of her family and to honor her brother's legacy, she was able to slowly heal. As a result of her grief, Queen Latifah found herself in the midst of a mental health crisis, telling Us Weekly in 1998, "The last 4 or 5 years of my life have been the hardest after my brother died. That screwed me up for real. I thought I was crazy. I felt out of touch with other people on the planet." In a deep depression, she turned to alcohol, though this outlet provided little relief and may have done more harm than good. As she told Good Housekeeping, "Every day I would be faded, like a painting that's just not vibrant, whose edges are dull. I wasn't living my full life." Eventually, she sought help for her depression and alcohol use, finding comfort in faith, telling Larry King on CNN, "God just pulled my skirt a little bit and said, 'Wake up, girl, get it together,' you know?" Following her recovery, Latifah has raised awareness of mental illness and emphasized the importance of prioritizing mental well-being, particularly for Black women who have historically faced discrimination and ignorance with regard to mental health. She told She Knows, "I think it's very important that we, especially as Black women, don't hold back about being honest about what we're feeling. Not just what we're feeling physically, but what we're feeling emotionally. These things are all tied together, and they can all affect each other." Queen Latifah once told the New York Times, "I learned early that I had to work harder than the white kids and harder than the boys." During a talk at the Tribeca Film Festival, Latifah described the hip-hop industry as misogynistic. Despite this, she was able to make a name for herself in the biz and subsequently earned praise from male detractors, saying, "When these gangster rappers praised my work, it drove home the fact that you can make a difference." As ABC News highlights, Latifah's music had always been pivotal in challenging misogyny and standing up for Black lives. Additionally, Latifah has acknowledged to the New York Times that, despite her fame and fortune, she is subjected to prevalent racism. At VH1's Hip Hop Honors, she elaborated on this, saying, "I don't care how much or things I have, or Puff has, or Missy has. If I go outside and try to hail a cab and he passes me for the white woman standing right there, that racism is still alive and kicking, and we have to change that."
People are used to doing things the way they're used to doing them. Change can be uncomfortable until the change happens.
From a young age, Queen Latifah found herself faced with numerous legal troubles. As a teenager, she briefly dealt drugs, admitting to the New York Times, "I did it a couple times to see if I could." Then, she was paid $50 to sleep with a 40-year-old man when she was just 16. According to the Los Angeles Times, in 1996, she was arrested on weapon and drug charges. As the Virginian Pilot notes, she was not prosecuted for possession of marijuana, though she was fined $810 for driving with no license and carrying a loaded weapon. Regarding the latter charge, she told Us Weekly, "Someone like me has got to have protection." It was also during this time that her friend and would-be collaborator, Tupac Shakur, was killed. Latifah told the Spokesman Review, "This is a great American tragedy, not just for the Black community, for everybody. Everyone was magnetized traumatized by him. According to MTV, Latifah was arrested in 2002 for misdemeanor reckless driving, to which she pleaded no contest and avoided a DUI charge. Opening up about her troubled past to Larry King on CNN, she explained that her second arrest spurred her to reevaluate her life, stating, "I was not actually impaired, but I was over the legal limit, and it just made me think that's not responsible. That's not the right thing to do. Wake up. Get it together, you know? I'm fine with checking myself when I'm not doing the right thing." By the mid-90s, Queen Latifah was enjoying immense success due to her third album, Black Rain, and the sitcom Living Single. But in 1995, things took a devastating turn when Latifah and her friends were the victims of a traumatic carjacking. According to the New York Times, Latifah was in her BMW with her then-boyfriend and bodyguard, Sean, and her close friend, Len, when two armed men approached the vehicle and shot Sean in the stomach, critically wounding him and stealing Latifah's car. The Baltimore Sun highlighted Latifah's heroism as she had hailed a cab and rushed Sean to the hospital, despite her trauma. As a detective told the outlet, it was probably what saved his life. Here she was, a victim of a crime in a stressful situation, and she was cool, calm, and collected. In 1996, a tearful Latifah recalled the horrific incident in court, identifying a main perpetrator, Ricardo Rodriguez. Rodriguez was found guilty and sentenced to 18 years for the violent crime he committed with Rashian Fortune, who shot Sean Moon. Queen Latifah was extremely close to her mother, Rita. As she said on CNN's Larry King Live, "She's just like my best friend. There's nothing that I can't talk to her about." When Rita became ill with heart failure and scleroderma, a rare autoimmune disease, Latifah took on caregiver duties. Initially, she was frightened when her mom received the latter diagnosis, telling Good Housekeeping, "That was terrifying because now we had to figure out, what does it mean to have this autoimmune disease? I had never heard of scleroderma before." According to AARP, Latifah first took on caregiver duties in 2004, after her mom fell ill while working as a school teacher. Latifah explained to the organization that she wanted to make her mother as comfortable as possible, cooking her healthy meals and managing her medication. Speaking with People, Latifah opened up about the difficulties of being a caregiver, but also praised her mom's resilience in the face of overwhelming adversity, saying, "I watched her come through so many things, ups and downs, hospitalizations, and bounce back and still maintain this sense of humor and love and drive and will." After 14 years of ill health, Queen Latifah's mother died in 2018, aged 69. As she said in a statement to People, "Anyone that has ever met her knows what a bright light she was on this earth. I'm heartbroken, but know she is at peace." Despite her pain at the devastating loss, Latifah told Good Housekeeping that her mother remains with her, living on through the values she instilled. She said, "I learned so much from my mom about being strong, and even though she's not with me, I carry that strength with me every day."
The person who has held me to that standard is my mother for my entire life.
Reflecting on everything her mother gave her, she told People, "When everything was too heavy for me to bear, I would disappear and call my mother." Additionally, Latifah said that she shares an otherworldly bond with her mom, saying, "She still talks to me. I know it's going to sound crazy, but I get little signs. Lights will blink, things will flicker." Queen Latifah has long been a champion of women's rights. As Consequence highlights, her 1993 single, UNITY, was a pivotal anthem in addressing domestic violence at a time when such issues were scarcely discussed, particularly within hip-hop. As the outlet wrote, "Countless women have suffered in silence so as not to cause more damage to themselves or the people around them. With UNITY, Queen Latifah gave women the courage to speak out about the injustices they endured on a daily basis." But at the time, fans had no idea that the profound lyrics were steeped in a tragic reality. On her eponymous show, Queen Latifah opened up about a very personal experience with domestic violence. Sadly, she witnessed her cousin being abused for years by their partner, and went on to say, "21 years ago, I wrote the song UNITY about disrespect and violence towards women. That entire second verse of that song was written about my cousin who was in an abusive relationship with her husband. While her cousin was able to eventually escape the relationship with help from Latifah's family, Latifah acknowledged that for many women, escape isn't so easy."
I wish the message in that song wasn't even relevant today, but it is.
In addition to empowering women and giving them a voice through her music, Queen Latifah launched the Queen Collective with Tribeca Film Festival and Procter & Gamble. The initiative is a program for female multicultural film directors whose stories are given support to be expressed through their art. In 2021, Queen Latifah was faced with another horrific tragedy when her beloved dog was apparently found killed. According to TMZ, Latifah sought the help of dog whisperer Cesar Millan, bringing her 2 pups to his psychology class. However, things took a tragic turn when one of her dogs was allegedly killed when the canine expert's pit bull attacked it. Lydia Mattis, who claims she was violently attacked by Milan's pit bull, filed a lawsuit against the dog whisperer, detailing the alleged attack against Latifah's pup. According to Mattis, Milan attempted to cover up Latifah's dog's death by urging staff members to say that Latifah's dog was hit and killed by a car. The lawsuit alleges that Milan's dog had an extremely violent history. Latifah and Milan previously appeared to share a close friendship. In 2014, he appeared on The Queen Latifah Show to discuss doggy matters. In 2018, she expressed her joy at enrolling her new fur babies and training programs with Milan in a tweet that seems especially chilling in light of the accusations. Subsequently, her dog's death, allegedly at the hands of the very person whose expertise she sought, is particularly tragic. According to People, Milan denies that his dog killed Latifah's pet, branding the accusation a lie. One of Queen Latifah's closest friends was acclaimed actor Michael K. Williams, famed for his role as Omar Little on The Wire. Williams gushed about their friendship in 2018, telling Entertainment Weekly, "I love her, man." He went on to credit Latifah with uplifting and encouraging him to pursue his dreams, saying, "She was the first thing to inspire me. She was the first person that I saw in my life that made success tangible." During Williams' appearance on The Queen Latifah Show, the host revealed that the pair had been friends since she was 16. In what would be Williams' final stint on the show, the longtime pals reminisced about old times, with Williams paying a warm tribute to Latifah, saying, "Dana never took no mess. Always strong-minded, strong-willed, and she could pack a punch."
Loving, caring, and just sincere. And could party.
Tragically, Latifah lost her buddy in 2021. According to the New York Post, Williams was found dead in his Brooklyn apartment at age 54. The actor died from an apparent drug overdose. Latifah took to Instagram to express her heartache regarding her sadly departed friend, writing in a touching tribute, "Your heart has always been so big. Thank you for sharing it with so many. The world will miss your talent, but I will miss your silly laugh. I love you, Mike, and I will always be proud of you." If you or anyone you know is struggling with addiction issues, help is available. Visit the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration website or contact SAMHSA's National Helpline at 1-800-662-HELP 4357.